Spaceforge is a UK-based space technology company headquartered in Cardiff, Wales. Founded in 2018 by Joshua Weston and Andrew Bacon, the company specialises in manufacturing materials in space. They leverage the unique environment of microgravity to offer on-demand services for in-space production. The advantages of manufacturing in space are significant. It reduces costs, speeds up production, and lessens environmental impact. This sector is set to expand dramatically, with the market expected to reach $21.8 billion by 2032, growing at an annual rate of 20%. Spaceforge has secured support from key players in the space industry, including the UK Space Agency and the European Space Agency, alongside various venture funds. These collaborations support their efforts to revolutionise manufacturing through space technology. Manufacturing on Earth has a number of drawbacks. First, gravity. It causes buoyancy, which prevents production of perfect alloys in metals of different densities. Second, the atmosphere. The dense ambient atmosphere of Earth contaminates even the cleanest of processes. And the third problem is temperature. From freezers to furnaces, temperature extremes are difficult to create and maintain. So, how does space solve these problems? First, space is a vacuum. The ambient pressure is 10 trillion times lower, removing contamination issues and eliminating the need for pumps to remove unwanted contaminants from the environment. The second advantage of space is weightlessness. The microgravity environment in space prevents buoyancy, allowing for larger, perfect crystal formation and uniform alloy mixing. And the third advantage of space is the near-zero temperature. Manufacturing in space can be done in near-zero temperatures, provided the manufacturing facility is pointed away from the sun. This results in ultra-fast curing without the need for cryogenics. Next, let's look at the re-entry vehicle designed by Spaceforge. In May 2023, Spaceforge unveiled a reusable re-entry system designed to provide a cost-effective and reliable return of satellites to Earth. While reusable technology has made launching satellites more affordable, existing commercial return vehicles rely on ablative heat shields, which need replacing after each mission. To protect satellites and their materials during re-entry, a heat shield is essential to manage the intense heat. Traditional methods like ablative shields or the fragile silica tiles of the US Space Shuttle are either not reusable or prone to damage. Spaceforge's solution, the Pridwen heat shield, uses a high-temperature alloy that radiates heat away without degrading. This innovative shield, larger than the spacecraft itself, employs an origami-like folding technique to fit within launch vehicles. Developed over 4 years with support from the UK Space Agency and the European Space Agency, the Pridwen has undergone rigorous testing, including plasma wind tunnel experiments, high-altitude balloon drops, and sea survival tests. Recognizing the vulnerability of sensitive materials like pharmaceuticals to the harsh landings of conventional re-entry vehicles, Spaceforge designed the Fielder, a water-based hover net. This uncrewed vehicle softens the landing by manoeuvring beneath the descending spacecraft, ensuring a gentle return to port. Testing of the Fielder prototype in Reading, UK, involved dropping scale models at terminal velocity to assess shock impact. Andrew Bacon, the CTO and co-founder of Spaceforge, said, "Pridwen and Fielder are key parts of our plan to develop fully reusable manufacturing satellites that can kickstart a new industrial revolution. Super materials made in space will be able to save industries on Earth enormous amounts of energy, limiting their CO2 emissions in a way that terrestrial counterparts can never match." Microgravity as a service. Spaceforge operates their ForgeStar platform. It provides for rapid, reliable and returnable vehicle to harness the space environment for customers' needs. Their ForgeStar platform with onboard payloads will be precisely placed on orbit between 500 and 800 kilometers above Earth in an optimal sun-synchronous orbit that maximizes solar exposure and facilitates monitoring. Mission lengths can be tailored to the customer's specifications and needs. They offer in-orbit missions lasting from 10 days up to 6 months. In-space manufacturing. Semiconductors can be produced that are nearly flawless. These semiconductors use less energy, with SpaceForge claiming 60% less power. Think of the cost of electricity for data centers or AI training centers. It's likely the largest cost and the biggest roadblock for training AI models is the enormous amount of energy needed. Space-manufactured semiconductors can reduce the energy needs by more than half. Let's go over some of the key milestones so far for SpaceForge. In July 2024, the NATO Innovation Fund invests in SpaceForge. The equity investment in SpaceForge and other defense and security-related space startups is designed to boost the resilience and security of NATO allies. In the case of SpaceForge, the NATO fund is interested in the manufacturing of advanced semiconductor materials for critical infrastructure. This could result in more powerful and resilient capabilities across telecommunications, aerospace, and quantum fields. The NATO Innovation Fund's support for SpaceForge's ambition is a testament to what we're building, said Joshua Weston, CEO and co-founder of SpaceForge. Occupying the domains of semiconductor manufacturing and spacecraft production is complex. This investment enables SpaceForge to develop the production-class version of its ForgeStar architecture and provide a critical advantage in key technologies with its advanced semiconductor materials. It's a privilege to serve the NATO alliance. In October 2024, SpaceForge and Voyager Space have signed a Memorandum of Understanding to advance in-space research and manufacturing. The partnership will use the ForgeStar platform for the commercial production of advanced materials and biomedical applications. Michelle Fleming, the president of SpaceForge, said, "This collaboration is a game changer for commercial space. We're excited to pave the way for the next generation of space-made materials, with the potential to reshape industries from biomedical to energy on Earth. By taking advantage of space's unique conditions, gravity, vacuum, and extreme temperatures, they aim to produce materials of exceptional purity with low carbon emissions and energy use, returning to Earth perfect and flawless materials that would be impossible to produce on Earth." Voyager's goal is to advance the capabilities of commercial space exploration, and these plans with SpaceForge mark a significant step towards achieving this, said Frank Gordon, Chief Operating Officer and Interim President of Exploration at Voyager Space. Voyager has a wealth of experience in spaceflight and over 2,000 successful customer missions. The partnership will combine ForgeStar's adaptable, returnable spacecraft with Voyager's orbital infrastructure to develop innovative solutions for industries needing high-performance materials ranging from biomedicine to cloud computing. In December 2024, SpaceForge signs an agreement with Sierra Space. Sierra Space recently signed a deal with SpaceForge to leverage their Dream Chaser vehicle and future space station for microgravity manufacturing support. The agreement signed specifies that SpaceForge will work with Sierra Space on how to use their company's Dream Chaser vehicle for manufacturing semiconductors, and also how these technologies could be included in commercial space stations. Okay, let's move on to upcoming events. Launch of the ForgeStar 1A satellite should be launching on a SpaceX rideshare mission in the future, although no launch date could be found. The company plans on a larger satellite called ForgeStar 2, able to produce materials that exceed the cost of the launch. We will keep you informed about this company and other in-space manufacturing space startups as they emerge. Be sure to like and subscribe so you will see our upcoming videos. We make videos every week covering the space industry, with an emphasis on the smaller space startups that aren't covered so well on other channels. See you soon!